Hello. Welcome to Bible Guru. Thanks for joining us on our journey through the Bible. Philippians chapter 1, beginning at verse 15. It is true that some preach Christ out of envy and rivalry, but others out of goodwill. The latter do so out of love, knowing that I am put here for the defense of the gospel. The former preach Christ out of selfish ambition, not sincerely, supposing that they can stir up trouble for me while I'm in chains. What does that matter? The important thing is that in every way, whether from false motives or true, Christ is preached. And because of this I rejoice. Yes, and I will continue to rejoice, for I know that through your prayers and God's provision of the Spirit of Jesus Christ, what has happened to me will turn out for my deliverance. I eagerly expect and hope that I will in no way be ashamed, but will have sufficient courage, so that now, as always, Christ will be exalted in my body, whether by life or death. We have a choice: to judge, hold a grudge, or rejoice. Do you know why anyone does anything? What motivates people? I had an elderly friend years ago who used to tell of the most important lesson she learned from her husband. He used to say, you can't judge anyone's motives. You have to give people the benefit of the doubt. Maybe you can guess at people's motives sometimes. Paul did so. But maybe we live happier, more fulfilled, more faithful, more fruitful lives when we're not bothering too much about why others are doing the things that they do. What's important is that the good work is done. There are, certainly, many reasons people go into the ministry. When we see some using the ministry to promote themselves or to make themselves what Pope Francis calls princes, amassing wealth for themselves or fame or whatever, it can be easy to become cynical. We can begin to close our heart and possibly even begin to lose the sense of the simple beauty of the gospel. But Paul doesn't fall into this trap. He figures if God's work is done, it doesn't matter what motivates it. He chooses joy. Choosing joy. Joy is a central theme of this letter to the Philippians. In the short 4 chapters of this diminutive missive, Paul mentions joy or rejoicing, it has the same root just like it is in English, 16 times. He was writing from prison. Earlier, Paul was imprisoned with Silas in their midnight praise concert. They literally brought the house down. It's almost like Paul liked prison. But I think something deeper is happening than a preference for penitentiaries. Paul preferred to think about all the good that is happening in spite of the bad, even because of the bad. Sometimes good things happen because of the evil. God takes the worst that we can handle and turns it into our blessing. It is his nature to make all things beautiful in his time. It's not that all things are beautiful. I used to hate that song. Everything is beautiful in its own way. I'm really grateful that is no longer a popular song. When I was a child, it was popular and was actually playing on the radio. Even when I was a kid, I didn't like that song. Again, it's not that all things are beautiful. It's that he takes the ugly, horrific injustices of this world and uses them to accomplish his good. As mentioned before, his light shines brightest in the darkest dungeon. There is so much evil in the world. Every one of us has reason for depression. There is so much good in the world. Every one of us has reason to rejoice. So it comes down to a choice. Paul writes that he'll rejoice whether in life or in death. As long as God's work is done and his name is glorified, it seems Paul doesn't care. He has a reason to be joyful. Maybe in prison, Paul found that he appreciated the joy of life even more. Be joyful today. Make a choice. Think of all the multitudinous blessings that God has given us. Think of how wonderful it is to have the privilege of God working in our life. Find someone to love with his love and enjoy. There will be another day for depression and grief. Let today be the day that the Lord has made. Rejoice and be glad in it. Prayer for today. Father, let every aspect of our life, the best and the worst, turn to your glory and our joy. In the name of him who came that we might have joy, and that more abundantly. Amen.